against 7 strangers, does that not make you a serial killer?
So I didn't kill them every day, did I? Did I go out there every day and say, I'm gonna kill? If I did, there would be
Well, no,
hundreds.
it took you 12 months.
Then he brings up Rex again, and that's when I just looked at him and I started stabbing him.
If I had shot my own children, would I not have done a good job of it?
First of all, women generally don't commit crimes this heinous.
Right.
This is usually the domain of men.
That's unfortunate.
Hi, Gabe.
Hey, Danny.
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. A little sore because I'm training for a week-long backpacking trip in the Sierras, so my feet are currently killing me. But,
Do you have hiking shoes or running shoes? What do you use?
I have hiking shoes, but I'm now realizing everyone who backpacks regularly uses trail runners because it's more cushion and they're lighter.
Mm-hmm.
And I see the wisdom behind it because mine are a little chunky and very durable, but not comfortable.
Yeah, I hate hiking shoes. I always use my running shoes.
Yeah, it was REI's damn buy secondhand great deal rack that
Couldn't pass up.
Yeah, I was like, oh, those are my size, and it's like $30.
Ooh.
How can I not get them?
That's fair. I get that. Actually, I'd probably buy them too.
Yeah, and you can't return them. That's how they get you.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's like secondhand. It's like already used. You can't return them again. They couldn't have like a double returned rack.
But then it could be like $5.
I mean, I would be down to buy that stuff.
Same.
But I think they're like, no one would reasonably want to. Oh, I guess think of it like at a certain point, you don't want to be accepting that either. You don't want people to be like, because then are you making any money off these products?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, that makes sense. Because then they would get their money back and they have to sell it for less.
Yes.
Anyways, so how your trip's coming up? Are you ready? Is it just like rest time?
No rest time.
What?
Yeah, I realized a lot of the cardio I'd been doing has been rowing, which is good for your whole body.
Right.
But weight on my feet is the primary issue. I mean, granted, I think new shoes will fix some of that, but I want to be certain. So I want to do at least one more long hike with better shoes and the pack again to make sure I could do this for 6 days in a row at, 12 plus miles per day.
Okay, so like one more hike.
Yeah, like a good solid one with better equipment. I have a new tent coming. It's 2 pounds lighter, which is a lot.
That is a lot.
Yeah, so it's looking good, but we'll see. Your brother's good to go, I think. I think he, without even training, was always in pretty good shape.
He's the worst. I know.
Yeah.
I know. I lived with him. He would like take a year off of running, and then he'll be like, I'm just going to go on a small little 10-mile run to get back into it.
Yeah.
Like even at my tip-top shape, I'm like 10 miles. Okay.
Yeah.
He's the worst.
I think the most I've ever ran is like 8 miles ever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like when I was training up for it,
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't just do at any respectable pace. I couldn't just go and do 10 miles.
Yeah. I don't know how he does it. And I don't know how I didn't get any of that like physical. Life is just unfair like that, I guess.
Yeah. But hey, we all get our gifts in one way or another.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we all have some pros with some benefits, some innate abilities.
I can bend my toe like all the way back almost.
That is weird.
Yeah. So there you go. Travis can't do that.
Yes, he's very inflexible.
Yeah.
So. I'm sure you have other stuff. You're good at your job and your job is very stressful.
Yeah, but do you know why I'm good at it?
Why?
Because I'm a ball of anxiety.
See? Benefit.
Yeah, Travis will never be a ball of anxiety, so he can't be as good as me.
Yeah, exactly.
Man. So
but how are you doing?
Oh, I was gonna be like, how are you doing besides that?
Oh, who knows? It's been top of mind as we're approaching. We're about 2 weeks away, and it's like as of a week ago, I've been on one backpacking trip, and it was an overnighter. So this is quite the jump in terms of distance, duration. I've had to learn a lot in terms of prepping food and how you pack your bag and getting in that kind of shape. I did not respect the weight. I did the overnight with it must have been close to 40 pounds.
Holy crap, that's too much.
Yeah, because I was walking around with it here thinking well, whatever, it's 40 pounds.
A toddler.
Yeah, I think toddlers shouldn't be that heavy.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably closer to like a second grader, I think.
It's like multiple toddlers.
Yes, which I don't want.
No. So what's your goal? Like 30 pounds?
Yeah. I'm thinking I can keep my weight to about 20 pounds and then food on top will be 10 pounds.
So 30. Nice.
Yeah, that is the plan. But man, you feel it over distance.
Yeah.
Like a mile or two with that weight and I was fine. But as we went up in altitude, because we went up, I think 3,000 feet total. Yeah, 9 to 12. Mile 3, it was awful.
Yeah. I don't enjoy that. So
You should get into it though. Maybe you'll find that you have an innate ability to handle altitude.
I do not.
How do you know?
I know that for a fact. We went to, I don't know, some high altitude place where Kobe's aunt lives. I can't even tell you the name because I don't know it, but it's significantly higher altitude than here. I can't even tell you the altitude. And as soon as I got out of the car, I was like, oh, I don't feel good.
Damn.
Yeah.
I've been told that is, if not a predisposition, then perhaps a situational thing, because the person we're going with is very, very experienced.
Mm-hmm.
He says he's seen like really good athletes hit a certain altitude and get headaches and like they cannot go any further.
Yeah. We have a friend named Scott and he did the beer mile with us. And well, we didn't do it, but we watched. And he lives in Arizona, where it's a little higher altitude. And he did surprisingly well in the beer mile, better than he was expecting. And he thinks partially because the altitude change from here to there. So,
oh yeah, plenty of fighters train in Colorado at altitude just for that advantage.
Yeah.
And when you have these fight events happen at altitude, like Mexico City, you see everyone's cardio do worse as a result, and like fights are more boring. It plays a huge role.
You know what we should do?
Fight at altitude.
We should move somewhere with higher altitude and then move back and then just blow Travis out of the water.
That sounds like a good idea, but you own a house here, so I don't think you can just like leave that.
Like at this rate, it won't be standing much longer. It just keeps like falling apart. It's fine.
Wait, your house is fine. You fixed the hole. You put the tarp over it.
Yeah, we like did our best to fix the hole in the wall that the dog spit. It's all good.
Oh, in the wall. I thought you meant I was like, the dogs did the roof hole? No.
Mm-hmm.
How is the roof going?
We have scheduled them to come and do it.
Nice. When?
Tuesday.
Oh, very soon.
Very soon. I don't know if we have enough money. It's fine. We're not panicking.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what credit's for.
Did you believe me?
No.
Yeah. So I don't know. It'll work out. It's fine.
You could always sell blood or something.
I know. I think a kidney will get me enough.
Oh, a kidney. Okay, this might be higher or lower depending on many factors, but like 10 years ago, a black market kidney was like 50 grand.
Oh, snaps. That's more than our roof. And I'm young.
And you have two of them.
And I have two of them.
Yeah. And Kobe has one too, so.
I feel like he'll need his as he gets older. I don't know.
His kidney? Why?
I don't know. What do they do?
They filter?
He needs filtering. He eats a lot of salt.
Oh, yeah. I think it's liver and kidney. There's definitely it's a two, what's the expression I'm looking for? It's a symbiotic relationship. I don't know. Point is they both probably filter that out.
Yeah. All right. Well, we should tell everybody this is our season finale.
Yes, we should have probably led with that.
Yes, we should have. Sorry. 10 minutes in and
I forgot about it too.
Yeah. It is our season finale before Gabe goes on his trip and might survive, might not. I don't know. And then I go on a trip and then he goes on another trip and I don't know. But we will be possibly recording between our trips.
Yeah, I know. I have it on my calendar. We'll record at least twice between now and.
Can you please share those dates with me after this?
Sure.
Okay, cool. And then also, I think we're not going to do it today just because I don't have time, but we're going to be recording some her stories as well. And those we are thinking of putting behind Patreon. Gabe has done one her story, like told the story. So if you want something new, that will eventually be available.
No, I think we should absolutely put them on Patreon.
Yes.
That way we could trade off stories, do them like once in a while, and then you guys can get some special behind the paywall content.
Yeah. So there's that. And then to end our season 3, we're going to do a serial.
I think it's season 4.
Season 4. We're going to do a serial. I don't know. But at the end of this season, we're ending with a serial killer. Gosh. That's
Nice.
fine. We're fine. Okay.
Okay, so a woman serial killer. These are quite rare.
Even more rare is her motive.
Oh, okay. Then it's got to be sexual in nature. 'Cause that would be like the holy grail of.
Okay, then it's not the Holy Grail.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know. We'll discuss it. It's questionable. Who knows?
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so we are talking about Joanna Christine Dennehy. She was born in 1982. She grew up in a good neighborhood and went to a good school with a stable home life. She had a younger sister who went into a career in the armed forces.
Wait, we're racing by here. Where did she grow up?
England.
England.
Yeah, we're in England.
Okay. What city in England?
Gosh, I didn't want to try to pronounce it. Hold on.
Do it. It's just the British. They're fine.
They're not going to be upset. St. Albans?
Saint
Albans,
Albans.
UK.
I normally don't think of serial killers being from the UK. Like, I know everywhere has had some, but I feel like we have them. It's our thing.
She ends up being the 3rd woman in the UK being sentenced to life without ever possibly getting out.
Life without parole?
Yes. So I would consider that pretty well, actually, it's probably super more common in the US, but I don't know. Anyways, doesn't matter. She had a good home life, super stable. She had a younger sister who went into a career in the armed forces. Her mom worked in a local shop. Her dad was a security guard. Her family described her as a really pretty child and smart. Her school friends described her as a free spirit. And
I'm cautious about the good childhood part, just because it happens. I mean, there are American serial killers. I don't know why I specified American, as that is psychologically different, but we have killers in the US who, by all accounts, had pretty normal upbringings who then become serial killers. But I think the norm is for there to be some level of trauma. So
that is true. I think she genuinely has something in her brain that is misfiring.
Which does happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. So her best friend from secondary school said they would get into mischief and smoke down in the playgrounds and occasionally drink. I think this was actually fairly common in the UK.
Is she a teenager at this point?
I don't know. What grade is secondary school? 11 to 12. That's pretty young, actually.
It is, but it might not be that abnormal for a British kid in the
That's what I was
early
thinking.
90s.
Because their drinking age is 18?
Yes, but everyone gets given a little bit before then.
I didn't get any red flags from anything I read or watched about this happening. It was just kind of kids will be kids.
Yeah.
And then when she reached the age of 14, a darker side really began to emerge. She would make boys do her homework for her, and she was extremely manipulative. Her best friend said she was great at making you feel special, and if you didn't conform to what she wanted, that's when things turned. And her turning on you could be her slapping you. It could be threatening you. It showed up in a lot of different ways. One particular girl who was interviewed in a documentary said that Joanna just chose her to bully, and she would threaten her and tell her she's going to get her. And this girl was so scared that she made sure to walk a different way home each day so that she didn't ever have a single path that would make it easy. And she was just terrified. So that's the kind of fear that Joanna could instill in a person at the age of 14. And when she was 15, she met a boy. So a lot of articles say she's 16 at this point, but the boy, his name's John Trina, he was interviewed and he said she was actually 15 when they met and she ran away to be with him. And he was 6 years older than him. He was 21 and she was 15.
This reminds me of a stat on like teenage pregnancies in the US.
Yeah.
And how the guy is like more often than not in his 20s.
So, yeah. So he was like, we absolutely did not have sexual relations until she was of age. And
Sure, bro.
I mean, the age of consent there is 16.
I know. It's just like,
Yeah, it's like,
I'm like,
really?
yeah.
Sure. So then he's like, the age difference was fine. I was open about dating her. I didn't have sex with her when she was underage, and her family knew about us dating, but like clearly they weren't okay with it if she had to run away to go live with him. And when she ran away at age 15, her and John went and they lived in like a tent for a year.
I'm surprised she'd be up for that.
She's a bit of a, I don't know the word, not
Wild
worried.
child.
Yeah, not worried about getting dirty.
Okay.
When she was 17 years old, she became pregnant and she never wanted kids and she was very upset about it, but she ended up keeping it. And I don't know why. And John says while she was pregnant, she gave up drinking and smoking and like did everything you're supposed to do while pregnant. But as soon as the baby was born, she immediately just went and got drunk and stoned. And he even showed a picture of her right afterwards and she was just out of it.
Doesn't she need to breastfeed?
There's whatchamacallit? Formula?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they did formula or not. It wasn't discussed, but I think they did. And he says that she was never loving towards the child or affectionate. And her drinking became a problem after having a kid. He also says she cheated on him multiple times. And it's speculated, but it hasn't really been confirmed to a point where I would say it happened for sure. But it's speculated that she went into sex work to make money. And they are together for like 12 years. But 5 years into the relationship, John leaves and Joanna goes back to her old town. She finds an old friend, the best friend that she used to have. And she like follows her to this lonely part of a path and confronts her. I don't even know what about, but she decides she hates this person and she like breaks a bottle at her feet and threatens her and tells the friend that she was going to put a firebox in the friend's mailbox today, but the friend got lucky and she decided not to and she leaves. So she's just like unhinged and just like seems to enjoy threatening people and has for a very long time. Anyway, she ends up going back to John and she has a second child.
Why?
I don't know. And after the second kid, she once again gets worse. And John says it's not odd to like just find her on the floor with needles in her arm. So she got like bad. And she once took a knife and stabbed it on the ground next to her and said, "I can do it. I can kill someone." And John was like, "I think we need to leave." And he took the kids with him and left soon after that.
All right, I guess at least he left.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Why would she go back to him?
Why would he go back to her? Why would he let her come back?
I guess my opinion of guys in these stories is pretty low. Because we cover so many guys who, oh, this woman has a reputation for killing her husbands. I gotta marry her. You know, like that keeps happening. And
I think he felt an obligation to her since they've been together for so long and they shared a child. And then, I don't know, maybe he thought she could get better, but things just got worse instead. And then she got pregnant. And so he was like, well, shoot, I have to stay now.
yeah.
That's all speculation.
But I think reasonable.
Yeah.
I've certainly, when I was younger than him though, I was not. I was with a girlfriend who was a bit of a hot mess, but was a fairly big hot mess. And you do keep thinking like, perhaps she can improve or, but yeah.
Yeah. So after he left, Joanna found a room to rent in a house where a man named John Chapman was also renting a room. And a neighbor named Michelle was interviewed in a documentary I watched. And she was a neighbor. I said that already. Mm-hmm. And she says John is well liked in the neighborhood, mostly keeps to himself. But after Joanna moved in, he started talking to neighbors and being like, she is crazy. And John and Joanna, they had a landlord named Kevin Lee. Apparently, Kevin Lee was using Joanna to scare people into paying rent. Yeah.
And how? Was she threaten them?
Yeah. They interviewed a previous tenant, and she says that Joanna once came up to her and like cornered her and grabbed her neck and held a knife to her neck and was like, and threatened her. Yeah. And
no one reported her to the police for...
Well, at this point, she had been in prison previously for quite a few things like theft, owning a dangerous dog, public intoxication. So she's clearly been arrested before and gets out.
Was this all after her not husband left her?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think part of it is that Kevin rented to not the most desirable people who perhaps maybe had trouble paying rent and finding housing. So they don't feel like they could...
Okay.
You know.
So he may have been a slumlord.
And Joanna was like clearly spiraling at this point. She slept with a guy who was interviewed, and he's like, I woke up and she was carving into my back. And I was like, what are you, like carving a knife? And he was like, what are you doing? And she was like, I'm curious what it's like. And he was like, I'm out of here. And also, it's possible and very likely that Kevin, the landlord, and Joanna were in a relationship of some kind, like a sexual kind. And when she was living with John, she met a guy named Gary Stretch, and he was 7 feet 3 inches tall.
That's got to be like close to a record or something, right?
I have no idea, but it's incredibly tall. And she ends up dating him for a while, and then on March 19th, 2013, Joanna contacts a guy named Lucas Slabowski. He's Polish, and he's age 31, and he goes to meet up with her. They had met like a few days prior and possibly weeks, and they had hooked up before. So he tells his friends that he's going to go meet up with his new girlfriend. And he goes and meets Joanna at an empty rental house, and she gets him drunk, blindfolds him, and then stabs him to death. Yes.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Yes. And she stores him in a rolly dump trash thing, you know, where you put your trash can, rolly bin, a dumpster, whatever you want to call it.
What do you call it? A trash can with the wheels?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, how many times did she stab him?
It says she stabbed him in the heart, but I didn't see a number. I'm assuming based on her other murders that we'll get to, it's a significant amount.
Okay. Well, okay, she's upgraded from fantasizing about killing people to doing it.
Yes.
Wait, did Gary Stretch, also hilarious name for someone who's 7'3", but is Gary Stretch a factor in the story? Does he come up again later?
He does.
Okay.
But he was not involved in this murder.
In this murder?
Yes.
So someone is involved in a future murder.
Well, you'll see.
Okay.
So, she stores him in that trash bin for 10 days.
That's a long time. At that point, the smell would be pretty noticeable.
Mm-hmm. And she's also seems very proud of it, by the way. I believe she shows Gary and one other person.
She brings him by to see the body?
Yeah.
And how do they respond?
Well, later, Gary says that he was too scared to say anything. I'm like, bullshit, Gary, bullshit. And you will see why. But he says he was scared of her. So perhaps she is just that scary, or perhaps Gary's just trying to get a lighter sentence. I don't know.
Gary is a literal giant.
Yeah.
Why is he scared of her?
Yeah, I don't know. And so she stores him in the wheelie bin dumpster for 10 days. And then on March 29th, 2013, 10 days later, Joanna decides, It's time to murder again.
20 days later, you said?
10.
10 days later.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's has a strong appetite for this kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. And she first murders her housemate, John. And then a few hours later, she's like, you know what? I'm ready to do it again. She gets her landlord alone and murders him. And it's unclear if she makes him, his name's Kevin Lee. It's unsure if she makes him dress in a black sequined wet dress before murdering him or dresses him afterwards. But regardless, when his body is found, he's dressed in a black sequined dress and posed in a provocative position. The odd thing is neither of the other bodies were. So it makes me wonder if maybe there was some kind of sexual relationship and she resented him, or maybe he was like using her. Either way, something about this is different than the other two.
That may have just been his particular fetish in their relationship.
Yeah, that's possible.
Because I certainly resentment or her. It's hard to say because crimes of passion typically associated with like a lot of stab wounds and knives because it's more personal.
Mm-hmm.
But if she's doing that to everyone, then how do you can't factor that in really?
Yeah.
It'd be unless she goes on to dress other people or pose other people. I'd be surprised if this was not Kevin Lee. You said Kevin's like own doing, like coming and dressing himself.
That's totally possible. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. So it's unknown. She's not really. We'll get to it.
Okay.
So Joanna then goes and gets Gary, her boyfriend, the 7-foot tall guy, and Leslie Layton, who's like a friend or possibly a lover, and asks them to help her. So they help her move the bodies to a ditch in a remote area. And the bodies end up being found like the next day because of a guy who's walking his dog. It's like a remote area. And if this guy hadn't found it, who knows when? And the dog ends up going and, finding them as dogs do. So Joanna, though, decides those 3 murders aren't enough. She wants more fun. And she insists that she be driven around and look for men to murder. So they end up going to, I wouldn't say a friend, but somebody Gary knows, his acquaintance's house. And they get him involved to drive around because originally they're like, yeah, we need to hide out. So let's go to this person's house. And then she's like, let's go out and let's murder more. And she doesn't want to murder any women, especially a woman who has kids. She wants men specifically. And some people speculate, if she had done sex work to get money, perhaps she built up a resentment to men.
That would line up.
Yeah, but I don't know. And Joanna says she points where to drive, and then they stop, and she gets out, and she goes, and she stabs a guy 30 to 40 times, and then they get in the car and drive again, and she finds...
That sounds like almost comedic. So they just drove up to a guy. She runs out with a knife and is like, oh boy, here I go killing again. Stabs him, and then just back in the car.
Uh-huh. And then they find somebody else, and they were both random guys. They had dogs. She ends up taking the second dog with her. Yeah. How
does the dog respond to this?
He's a friendly dog. He's like, okay.
Which of your dogs do you think would do that?
If they had food, it would be Boo. Walter's friendly, but he can be kind of an asshole if he thinks you're in danger. So Anarchy would just never let anybody close to him.
Yeah.
So, honestly, none of them.
Well, that's good though. Yeah, I would.
But it was a golden retriever.
Yeah. I would feel betrayed if my dog just saw me get stabbed to death.
That's why I don't want a golden retriever or a lab.
Yeah.
I'm I want a dog who will at least care if I die.
Yeah.
But so Joanna's on a killing spree, or what she hopes is a killing spree. And the police eventually find her. They surround her. They hold out guns. And Gary Stretch, he runs away, but he's found really soon after. So they're all...
I'm trying to imagine Gary running away. And the cops are like, yeah, find the giant. They're like, Just find the
it
giant
doesn't
dude.
sound like he made it very far.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, no, I've never seen somebody that tall. I've never really been to like a basketball game or.
Just have Kobe stand on like a foot tall stool.
Yeah, that's insane.
And then imagine, yeah.
Like, I just can't.
I would love to see Kobe's reaction to a 7'3" tall guy.
He'd be so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Joanna has the knife and the dog when she's arrested. And when she's arrested, the detective on the 2 stabbing cases gets a call about a body in a ditch. And they're like, we found a body in a ditch and we think it's related to this woman because her cell phone and Gary's cell phone pinged in that area. And he gets a second call then. And it's like, we found 2 more bodies in a ditch about 10 miles away. And they find Kevin Lee first, and then they found the 2 more bodies about 10 miles away. And as I said, it was John Chapman, Kevin Lee, and Lucas Slab. I feel like I'm just like butchering his name, and I'm so sorry. Slaboskiewski. And the 2 dog walkers end up surviving.
No way.
Yeah.
Didn't you stab one of them like 40 times?
She stabbed them both like 30 to 40 times. And it's thought that the super quick medical follow-up, like finding them and everything, is what saved their lives. And they're also able to identify her later, which is amazing. But like...
Surviving is amazing. Like 30 stab wounds.
Okay, but could you imagine how upset she must be when she finds out? She thinks she has 5 murders, and then she's like, no, I only have 3.
Yeah. Damn, I would have thought that was a sure thing, too.
Yeah.
That's so many stab wounds.
It's so many. Yeah.
I mean, how do you even, like, as a medical expert, intervene? I feel like there's just so many wounds to attempt to treat.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what because it's one thing to just cut the skin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, you can, maybe even in most cases, just kind of like super glue on that, just close them up. But it's if you hit anything inside, that's the problem. You could nick a bowel. You could be bleeding internally.
Yeah.
How do you attempt to just like?
I have no idea. But
Wild.
they both survive, and the man who had been forced in the car with them says that Joanna said she wanted to kill 9 men to be like Bonnie and Clyde. But like, did Bonnie and Clyde ever even kill anybody?
They did. They killed a number of people. I don't know if it was 9 though. They killed 2 cops in Missouri during a shootout.
Mm-hmm.
They killed a store owner during a robbery in Texas. They killed a sheriff in a city in Oklahoma. So that's 4. And they killed 2 highway patrolmen in Texas.
Okay.
That's 6. And then they killed a constable in a city in Oklahoma.
So it's 7.
That's 7.
So was she just like completely stupid?
Well, the thing with Bonnie and Clyde is not every murder they committed may have been pinned on them.
Yeah, that's fair. So maybe she thought there was like 9. There was some, I don't know. But anyways, that is what that guy says her motive was.
It's a very particular, like, number though.
Yeah. And I think part of it is she wanted like that infamy. Like people are always like Bonnie and Clyde, like who it is. I think she liked that. I don't know. She ends up being diagnosed with a psychopathic disorder characterized by superficial charm and pathological lying. And she was known to charm men and to use them for crimes such as theft. And even in the videos after Joanna is arrested and had like literally just tried to murder 2 men, you can see her smiling and like flirting with the policeman. It's wild. She like tells one that he has nice eyebrows, and it's super weird, but like he's clearly magnetized by her. Like he smiles and talks back. It's so weird. And when she's put into a room for questioning, she says nothing. She's completely silent. And then when it comes time for her to do like a what's it called? Like, are you guilty or not guilty?
Sentencing?
Yeah, there you go. her and her lawyer were like, okay, we're going to say not guilty. We're going to, like, you know, do our best.
How do you argue that?
That's what everybody did. It's the only way to get a trial. If you say guilty and you're just like,
true, but damn.
yeah. So they were supposed to be like not guilty. And then as soon as the judge is like, what do you plead? She yells, guilty, guilty, guilty. And her lawyer is just like, oh, like shocked, like what? And Gary Stretcher was sentenced to life in prison with a minimum of 19 years for 2 counts of attempted murder. And Joanna was sentenced to life in prison. They found a diary that she had done before she was arrested that, like, had stupid things written about how, like, if you get arrested, here's how to escape. She has not ever escaped. I don't know what was in that diary. I do know that there was escape attempts in it, and she also threatens other inmates regularly. She's considered a very dangerous inmate. She is still constantly flirting with men through letters and has a lot of pen pals. And then in 2018, this is 5 years after her arrest, Joanna came out and said that she wanted to marry her cellmate, Haley Palmer. And Haley's family was worried about this, and they're like, we think Joanna must be threatening her or something. And then Joanna and Haley do a suicide pact and attempt to commit suicide together. That fails. And then as of May 2021, it was confirmed that they're still together, but Palmer has since been released and there hasn't been any updates. So I don't know if it ended or if they're still together. And then in 2019, Joanna was transferred to Low Newton Prison, which is the same place where the only other woman still alive who has been imprisoned for life in the country, killer Rose West, was being held until Joanna made a threat on her life, and they moved west for her safety. And Joanna is now housed in the same facility as fellow English serial killer Lucy Letby, the nurse.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, with the question mark, a potential asterisk there, right?
I think the trial's finishing up soon. So that's interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, not really a question mark. It's just for one child that she's being retried.
Oh.
But, I mean, I guess question mark because people are like, I don't think she got, yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll see what the trial says.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have all the information and reach a pretty definitive verdict, I think.
Yeah, but this woman is wild.
Yeah. So what was her kill count in the end? Because 2 people
3.
survived, right?
Yeah, it was just 3.
It's kind of wild. I guess they stopped her that same night. She went on her killing spree, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. She could just do that, run out of her car and like
Stab somebody. Yeah.
and do that 3 times.
Twice.
'Cause she killed a guy in a house first.
She killed a guy in a house first that she had seduced, and then next she killed her roommate, or housemate, I guess.
Yeah,
and then
her
third,
landlord.
she killed her landlord.
Got it. And then the 2 people she tried to kill at random
Yes.
failed
Yes.
miraculously.
Miraculously.
That's incredible. Yeah. I hope those 2 people are okay.
Yeah. I think they are. They testified and they helped get her life in prison without possibility of getting out ever.
I gotta look up a photo of this woman.
She looks oddly like Lucy Letby, in my opinion, and I'm not sure if it's like just, a common look in England or...
It could be. I've noticed there's a certain like British look to people,
Yeah.
or English look to people,
Yeah.
I should say. What was her full name again? Joanna
Joanna Dennehy, Dennehy. It's like letters.
You are not kidding.
Mm-hmm.
They
could be sisters. Her hair's like a little bit darker, but I don't know if Lucy dyed hers or not.
I like the photo of her with her giant Mall Ninja dagger
Uh-huh. Yep, that's
She's
a common one.
in a beanie with just like
Yeah.
this ridiculous dagger.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really do look alike. That's wild.
Isn't it weird? When I first saw her picture, I was like, oh, they're using Lucy's picture. That's so odd. Maybe it's because they're both from England or something.
Yeah.
But no, they're just look very similar.
It could be where they're from too, though.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Like maybe straight hair is normal, pale skin.
It's the face shape too.
Yeah,
I know,
round shape.
now that after meeting a bunch of Germans, in particular German women,
Mhm.
I can now spot out like German features. There's like a certain face shape, hair color. Like I couldn't even necessarily tell you in detail.
You just know how, like you see it and you know.
Yeah, you just have being able to spot it.
Exactly.
And yeah, I think this is the case here.
Yeah, but she's interesting because like her motive isn't financial, which is a very common one, and it's not. I don't think it's sexual.
No. I mean, there was her landlord.
Mm-hmm. And that was like
But-
the single.
Yeah, and that guy could have been his thing. He showed up, did that,
Exactly.
and she just stabbed him for the hell of it.
Yeah, her motive was just either wanting to be famous or just enjoying murder.
Yeah, but in like a really impulsive
Yes.
way,
Yeah.
like no self-preservation.
None. Yeah.
Pretty unique for. I mean, women serial killers are quite rare,
hmm
but
And you
with
know
this
what's
motive,
weird is I only heard about her because you sent me an article, but like she's not a super famous name, so her plot didn't work.
there you go.
Yeah, she failed. We are spreading her name, but we are doing it negatively.
Yeah, and she's already in prison,
Yeah, and
thankfully,
she's in prison.
and sentence. Like it's all that her case is done.
Yeah, life in prison.
Good. She is
A horrible
something
human.
else. Yeah. Definitely a horrible human, and also just the gall on her to go out and at random like that.
Yeah, stab people. Like this poor guy's like walking his dog, and then
Yeah.
she tried to steal his dog.
And the dog went with her.
Yeah.
Wow, dog.
Mhm.
Could you look at your dog the same way after that?
Yes.
You could.
Yes, absolutely.
I'd be like, you don't care about me. You suck.
Who knows? Maybe the dog was freaking out. I don't know. Maybe it was just a friendly dog. It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, that's that. That's the story of Joanna Dennehy, and
Well-
that is our season, not series, season finale.
Well, thank you, Danny. That's a pretty good story to end on.
Thought so.
We don't tend to cover a lot of
serial killers
serial
that are women
killers.
because there's
Yeah.
not that many, and she just made it. 3.
Yeah. And it's more recent than I expected, the story as well.
Yes, it was very recent. 11 years ago.
Yeah, wow. Do we have any parting words for the people?
We'll see you next season.
Yes.
We'll let you know as soon as we know when that is. Actually, that's probably not true. We'll just show back up.
Yeah, that is the way we do things.
Yes.
But if you're on our Patreon, stay tuned. We'll have some herstories coming up real soon. One is pretty good, close to being done. We'll be doing another one maybe today. What do you think?
No, I have to go.
Not today. At some point.
But I have it all ready to do. So whenever we're next available. And it's a really, really good one. I am excited.
Nice.
I've told Kobe about it. I've told my coworkers. I cannot stop talking about her. So
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all. Stay tuned for season 5 coming to you soon.
are you sure it's season 5?
It is season 5 because I have a folder on the drive where we put all the episodes,
Oh, but I never put my notes in there.
and
Right.
it's all season 4.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So stay tuned for season 5 coming up. Subscribe to our Patreon to receive a goodie bag. Hopefully, we're almost out of those.
We're almost out. So
Good.
yeah, we're almost out.
Yes.
I don't know what we're going to do after, but I'll figure it out.
Well, there's shout outs and extra content.
Oh, we have a Patreon. We have
Yeah.
a new one. But
Oh.
I messaged them and I asked them what name they'd like me to use because it wasn't super clear
Mhm.
on their profile, and they haven't gotten back to me. And you know what? We believe in consent, and I don't want to use the wrong name, so we will do a actual shout out when they get back to me.
Okay. Then they can look forward to a season 5 episode 1 shout out.
Yes, but don't worry. If you are listening to this, I mailed out your gift yesterday, so you'll probably get it before this episode airs.
Nice.
All right.
Well, thank you all. I guess that's it for now.
Like, subscribe, tell
Comment,
your friends.
Review.
Yeah, tell your friends about us.
Yeah, or don't. It's fine.
It's not. Do it.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.